This video is brought to you by the EA Creator Network. Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Special warm welcome if you're brand new here. My name is KiwiSimsKate. Kiwi because I'm from New Zealand, Sims because I love The Sims, and Kate because that's my name. So if you've not joined me here on YouTube before, welcome. Welcome to my YouTube channel where I create no CC speed builds in The Sims 4 of all sorts of different styles, really. I generally tend to build residential homes, but I have done a few community lots. I just find them slightly more challenging to come up with and to build. So I tend to do a lot of residentials, and they're all uploaded to the gallery in The Sims 4, and you can find all of them under KiwiSimsKate, which is my EA ID if you're looking for them. Speaking of building and The Sims 4, before I go any further, I just want to let you know that recently I've been able to finally tell everyone a secret I've been holding for far too long, and that is that I officially created 3 lots for The Sims 4 Adventure Awaits, which is the 20th expansion pack being released in October, in just a few weeks if you're watching this, when this video goes live. I can't believe it. I'm pinching myself still to this day that I even got that opportunity. Once in a lifetime. I'm so excited to be able to share those with you. So you'll be able to see my 3 official lots in game if you purchase Adventure Awaits, either pre-order or purchase it once it comes out. And if you do decide to purchase it, either through pre-order or once it's released, you can actually use my creator code, which will support me and my channel and my content. All you need to do is put KiwiSimsKate into the promo box at the checkout if you're purchasing Adventure Awaits through either the EA app or thesims.com. And I would really appreciate it because it does support me and my work, and it is no additional cost to you. Now, moving on to the build that I'm creating today. This video is a build that I worked on in stream, actually. So I do stream live over on Twitch twice a week. Feel free to come and join us over there. This is a build that's in Oasis Springs, and it's actually kind of inspired by this specific little neighborhood in Oasis Springs. So it's one of the base game worlds, but it's not a base game only build. I did use multiple packs to create it, but I used packs and items that I thought worked best with this environment and this neighborhood. I wanted to create this kind of, I think it's called like Spanish Colonial style home, residential. It's a family home. I decorated it with 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, I believe. Yeah, or 2.5. There's 2 full bathrooms, right? 1 downstairs. That's an ensuite for the primary room, and then 1 full bathroom upstairs, and then downstairs also has an additional just toilet room with a toilet and a sink. So it's got enough space in here to immediately add, I think, because the one of the kids' bedrooms has actually got a double bed, but I finished it for 4 Sims. There's tons of space though, so if you did want to expand bedrooms, you've got the whole garage, which is actually a double garage that just has a couple of live edit cars in there, so you could get rid of that. You could change that into bedrooms. There's lots of space. There's also loads more space on the lot. I didn't even fill up the entire lot when I did the landscaping and that. So there's a lot of space if you want to expand your family, or just create more rooms in the build. The exterior, as I said, it's kind of Spanish Colonial style. And I've been wanting to build this style for so long. It's been on my to-do list for a very long time. So I was really excited to try it out. I love this style. I don't think in real life I would ever probably, search out a house like this to live in, but I do love it in The Sims. And I think we've got now some really great options for various build buy items that go well together in this kind of a build. So I use, for example, a lot of base game items that are from this Oasis Springs world. I also use a lot of Jungle Adventure, and I also use a lot of For Rent. Those are probably my three most used items in this build in general. And then it's not a limited pack, so a bunch of other things as well. There's a double garage that obviously isn't functional because we don't have functional cars. But I've placed, as I said, a couple of live edit cars in there so that it just gives the illusion that maybe your Sims have a couple of nice fancy cars. I didn't create any Sims for the build for this home, but I was inspired. Often when I'm building, I'm kind of thinking about who lives there, because when I decorate it, I need some inspiration. I need to kind of know what direction I'm going in and what kinds of items I want to include. So for this build, my idea was loosely based around a youngish family where maybe actually the parents are a little bit older, but they've got a child and a teen. And in my imagination, the parents aren't having the best time together. They are maybe at odds with each other a lot. They've got different ideas about maybe how to raise their children. They're not getting along very well. I imagine that one of the parents is bringing in the majority of the income to the household, and maybe the other parent is not bringing any income potentially, and is a bit more a sim of leisure, and is the one that spends the money, whilst the other one is the one that earns the money. There's also a big courtyard out the back of this home, so I wanted there to be sort of this enclosed backyard courtyard section that felt a little bit fancy and opulent. And so they've got a courtyard swimming pool, and I imagine that one of the parents, rather than going to work every day, mostly they hang out by the pool, sunning themselves, just generally lounging around and spending the household funds. Potentially they have like a personal trainer that comes to visit the house when everyone else is out while the kids are at school and their partner or spouse is at work. And maybe even I was thinking that the sim is potentially not very well behaved with their personal trainer, if you get my drift. So of course you can have whatever family you want in this build, but that was those were the personalities that I had in mind when I was building this. I kind of loosely was thinking of TV shows like Desperate Housewives, or even the other inspiration I had was, if anyone's played Grand Theft Auto 5, is it? Where you start playing as Michael as the protagonist, and his wife is, I think, having an affair with her personal trainer or something, or he thinks she's having an affair, something like that. For some reason that came to mind when I was building this house, because they have a similar styled house. They have the world in GTA is is it Los Santos? And it's kind of like an LA vibe, and which is where, California is where you'd find a lot of these style of houses as well. So I think that must be where my brain came up with this, I think, initially. As I said, I finished it with a primary bedroom, and that's on the ground floor, and they have an ensuite. There's also 2 bedrooms in the upstairs section. So the upstairs is a little smaller. I really, really like the shape of how this house turned out. I built it, actually, I finished it a few months ago, and I'm only just figuring out, like, putting it together for a speed build and doing the voiceover, etc. now. And as I'm watching it back while I'm recording my voiceover, I'm really happy with the shape. I really like it. I've not built a lot of this style before, and it's really got me wanting to try more homes of this style, this kind of Spanish colonial look, various sizes, maybe larger ones, smaller ones. We have some really great builds that came with the vacation world of Salvadorada with Jungle Adventure. So I'd be keen to build in that world as well, maybe a vacation lot and like an old Spanish missionary house or something like that can now be a rental vacation lot, or maybe rental apartments. It's given me lots of ideas. So I'm in the mood to build more and more in this style. If you've got any ideas specifically of what I could build using this type of architecture, do drop them in the comments below. I'm always looking for new inspiration. I always save inspiration that I find in my Pinterest board, but I also am keen to know what you want to see me build. If you do have requests, please reach out, let me know. I can't promise I'll definitely get round to building them, but it does help me when I'm thinking, what's my next thing. I have a long list of styles I want to try, but I'm not necessarily always in the mood to do something from that list, for example. So if you've got ideas, drop them in the comments, or reach out and let me know. Here I'm just pulling out a few of I think mostly I use the debug plants, live edit plants for the landscaping. I often do this because I find that if I'm building a lot that is kind of inspired by the world around it and the neighborhood, it's got to look like it fits there, right? So by using the live edit landscaping items, it will make it fit in the world around it. So I take a look at what's just outside the lot. There's a lot of these low-lying pink flowers. There's a few yellow flowers. And then there's a lot of this desert style plant, which is like the cacti, the other type of succulents, and spiky plants and things, and palm trees. So I pulled out a bunch of those and dotted them around. I do go back at the end, I believe, of the speed build and just tidy up some of the landscaping and finish some of that off. But I wanted to get a sense of how much landscaping I might add, because unlike me, I started with a bit of the exterior today. I mean, I always put the shape of the building together first, but then I'll normally dip straight into decorating the inside. And one of those reasons is because I find it easier to do interior decorating versus landscaping. However, I am getting better at landscaping, I think, the more I do it. But the main practical reason is because if I find that when I'm decorating the interior of the build, I need to expand the house a bit for some reason, maybe items that I want to use aren't fitting, I need to adjust the shape of the house, then it's really a pain to have to go and change any terrain paint that I've already done or change any landscaping. So I'll often start on the interior, or at least figure out the floor plan. and then go and do the landscaping last when I know that my shape is not going to change. This is the little enclosed backyard. It's got a kind of paved patio area that fills up most of this space. There's also a grill, which I think is the one from Jungle Adventure. There's also some base game seating, a table and chairs, a diving board, which I often forget to use. And actually, I used this diving board because I knew we were getting diving boards for Adventure Awaits, because obviously I've been working on my official lots for that for some time. So I although I wasn't allowed to say it at the time, I was inspired by the fact we're getting new diving boards, which you all would have seen by now in the trailers for the new pack. So that's really exciting. But I used these ones that we already have in the game building this, because obviously at the time of building, we didn't, Adventure Awaits is not yet out. And then I dropped in some activities for the kids as well. So there's a telescope, and there's also a swing set out the back. I always try and include some activities in the build, but not too many. I feel like, at least when I do gameplay, as my Sims kind of progress in life, I start to understand what activities they like to do, rather than just having all the activities available in the house immediately. But you can add whatever you want, and obviously remove anything if it doesn't suit your gameplay style. Then on the interior, I have already figured out the floor plan pretty much. So now I'm going in and decorating everything. This is a bit of a slightly longer build, slightly longer video, sorry, because it is, even though it's not a really big, I mean, it's only 3 bedrooms, it's not that big, but for me, it's a fairly big build. I'm terrible. I get decision paralysis a lot. I find it really hard to make decisions with building in The Sims. And particularly, I think I've mentioned this before, when I build live on stream, I find it even more difficult, because there's kind of this like pressure that people are watching me, And so whilst I'm trying to figure out what I want to use, I also feel pressure that I'm trying to do it faster so it's not so boring, and then at the same time I'm trying to chat with my community and keep my eyes on what's happening in the chat, so it does add an additional layer of difficulty for me, even though actually if I build in my own time I'm pretty slow as well, but that's why this build is a little bit longer and took me a bit more time than maybe if I weren't building it in stream. But hopefully that's not too much of an issue. Hopefully you enjoy watching this anyway. And if you're anything like me, I'll often watch, some of my favorite Sims builders on YouTube. Their videos, I don't often get through a full one in one sitting, unless it's like under 20 minutes. If it's like a 15-minute speed build, I might get through it in one go. But I'm time poor, or I'm watching things kind of late at night as I'm getting into bed, so I'm really tired and I fall asleep. So I if a speed build video is longer than like 20 minutes, I'll generally watch it over 2 or 3 sittings. So I don't know if anyone else does that, but that is definitely how I consume YouTube Sims builds. This is the living room. I've used, the other pack that I use quite heavily in this build is Horse Ranch. So yeah, I thought that a lot of those items went really well here. Really cozy family, lots of kind of really quality, rich looking fabrics. Not rich as in like expensive necessarily, but just, top kind of quality looking fabrics. Maybe slightly more on the traditional side as opposed to modern. I definitely didn't think modern things were really going to work inside this build. And I loved being able to use these tall arched curtains. I don't often get to use them because I don't often build. I think this is medium wall height, so I often am using short wall height builds, and I don't often use these windows either, these base game curved windows. So yeah, I loved being able to use these big curtains. And then I'm using some Jungle Adventure in here as well. More Horse Ranch. There's some great Horse Ranch clutter from that EP. So this basket that I put on the ground, and then that decorative item that I put on the coffee table. I want to use that all the time. I love it. And then I decided again, I was going to put some sort of pre-made bookshelves either side of the fireplace, and then I thought, no, let's not be lazy, Kate. So I did end up cluttering up these shelves. Again, these shelves are from Jungle Adventure, and the clutter that I've put up here is from a bunch of different packs. There's some base game stuff, there's some for rent, there's some, what else is up there? There's some cottage living, I think that is, or kitchen clutter kit, refined living room kit. So if there's anything that you don't have, if there are packs or kits that you don't have for The Sims 4, as long as you've sort of got base game, Jungle Adventure, For Rent, and Horse Ranch, I think those cover most of the items that I've used. There'll be a little bit, some things here and there that might be missing, but I would say those are the main ones, that I've used here. This little entrance area is where you can you either take a right when you go inside and head upstairs, or there's also the little half bath that I was talking about earlier, so just a little toilet and sink in the entranceway, and then straight ahead of you is all the kind of kitchen-y dining space, and then to the left is the big living room. The living room as well, I'm not too sure if it showed in the video, but you've got access out to the covered part of the patio straight from the living room, and then also, can you get to you can't get to the garage from the living room. You've got to go outside and then through the back door of the garage, which in the video at this point I haven't furnished yet. This is the dining room though, and as you can see, again, I've used a lot of Horse Ranch, so both the dining table and the dining chairs are from Horse Ranch, and then it's just got, the dining's just like a little nook. I wasn't hugely happy with the dining area. I thought for the size of the house, it felt a little small and a little kind of shoehorned in there. But at this stage, I was really happy with the shape of the house, and I didn't want to shift anything or change anything. So I just went with it. And look, honestly, if your Sims are anything like mine, they never sit at the kitchen table at the same time as each other anyway. So it probably does not matter. Then in the kitchen, I've used, I can't remember. Is this tile from not the kitchen clutter kit? Or was it from the kitchen clutter kit? No. Oh, it's escaped me. But I thought this color worked really well in here. This build really, really goes well with these warmer, orangey, terracotta-y style vibes. And so I used a lot of oranges, a lot of kind of soft reds and pinks, a lot of warm brown tones, all of that, because I think they all just went really well together. And then in the kitchen here, I wanted a really nice big island in the center. I had to do a little kind of shuffling around of these counters. They were being annoying. I really don't like how these two types of counters don't line up sometimes. You know, the ones where you get your stools snapping to them versus just the basic counters. I can't remember the name of the two types, but basically, if you try and create one connected piece with the two types of counters, there are edges of the counter that don't match up with nice clean lines, and it really bothers me. You would have seen me just playing around with it there. I did use the tool mod a little bit to stop some of the clipping and the annoying kind of flickering, but you don't need the tool mod in order to download this and place it in your game. That's just a mod that allows me to adjust things as I build, but not affect the actual final build itself. And then, do I change the tile? I don't remember. Okay, so I actually changed the tile. So there you go. I think this one is the Jungle Adventure tile. It comes in this swatch, or this type, and then it comes in one where the tile goes much higher towards the ceiling. I don't know why. I quite liked the color I had before, but maybe this one actually does work a bit better with this soft orangey yellow tone. It goes really well actually with these for rent kitchen counters. The wood tone here is really nice, and then I've brought through a bit of that blue, which is seen in the living room as well. So the curtains here are a nice blue tone, as well as the kitchen stools. I don't clutter the kitchen up too much. There's still plenty of bench space for your Sims to cook and create things in the kitchen, and especially if you want to do sort of family gameplay where the kids are helping out with the cooking and that kind of thing, you kind of need quite a bit of space. One of the most frustrating things in a build for me is when the Sims can't move around a space properly, and they all get kind of stuck in a corner because there's not enough pathways for them to move around nice and easily. So I'm always quite conscious about that when I'm building, unless I'm specifically building like a tiny home or something. I try and give you enough space for your Sims to move around. So the kitchen is mostly done. I feel like I go back and I might add a little bit more clutter later. Just sometimes I get kind of fed up or bored of a room, and I'm like, okay, it's time to move on. Like my brain just needs to decorate a different space for a bit, especially if it's a big room like that kitchen. So that probably is what happened here, I'm imagining. I really like this little ensuite that I created for the primary room. I did this little trick, which is, it's nothing groundbreaking. It's not exactly anything other people haven't done, but I thought this worked really well with the for rent curtain and beam. So I've made it like it's just a curtain rail. Like the shower itself isn't its own cubicle. It's like how we would say in New Zealand, I think, is what do we call it? Kind of a bathroom where it's like an accessible bathroom. So there's no lip, nothing to step over or to step into for the shower. The whole room is it's like a wet room. The whole room is tiled on the floor, and you've just got a curtain to separate the shower. So that's how I did that bathroom. I really like it, actually. I'm really happy with how that turned out. And then the primary room, also I love the color choice I went with here. I'm not the biggest red fan, but I thought these warmer red, soft red tones worked well with the dark wood. And I brought a little bit of pink in as well. I had a great time mixing these different styles. So again, you've got some base game, you've got some for rent, those side tables, and I believe the bed are all for rent, and the rug and the dresser. So a lot. A little bit of country cottage living there. I think that basket was a cottage living basket, right? I think. Yeah. And then the primary bedroom as well has double doors straight into or straight out to, I should say, the outdoor patio area. Moving on now to the office. So this could easily be turned into another bedroom if you want another bedroom down here, or just any other skill building type space, or a larger bathroom if you'd prefer a family bathroom down here. It could be whatever you want, but I've decorated it as an office. As I was saying at the start, I had ideas in my head around who the Sims were that live here, just so that I could kind of get in my focus mode for building. And I imagine that the Sim parent who does work might actually work in like the doctor career as quite a revered specialist in some kind of highly sought after area. Maybe they're in pediatrics, maybe they're a surgeon, but I added a few items to indicate that they were in that field. So the skeleton in here, I really loved using that. This is sort of they probably wouldn't have patients or clients in here necessarily, because you'd have to walk through the whole house to get to the space. But I imagine they work a lot from here to do their research and, just prepping for their job. And I also imagine that they have been in this career a very, very long time. And it's not necessarily a passion, but they're very good at their job and very serious and very successful as well. So there's bookshelves here with all of their research items. There's also actually, I think that globe that I placed is the version that's actually like a bar, a juice bar. So maybe late at night, the Sim is often working. They go to work all day long. They're gone out of the house, and then when they get home, they have dinner, and then they're not really that interested in hanging out with their family. Like this Sim and their spouse aren't getting on very well. They're not really that interested in their kids, and they're mostly just buried in their work. So they come into the space, it's like off limits to the rest of the family. It's like, when I'm in this room, don't bother me, I'm working. And maybe they work till really late, and they just research, and they have a whiskey or whatever the Sims equivalent of a whiskey is. They've got their fish tank in there. Yeah, that was the inspiration for that space. Out here, I'm adding a little bit along this wall here. I felt like, whilst I was happy with the kitchen, this wall along here felt really empty to me, especially because the rest of it was quite decorated. So I swap out these doors to these taller, more intricate doors, which I'm so happy I did. I think they look much better. They fill the space up even more, especially with these medium height walls. The other ones I had just felt tiny in the space and a little bit odd. So these work much better. And then obviously there's the hutch there, which I cluttered up with a few kitchen-y dining style items. I think that's about it for downstairs. Yeah, and then I move upstairs. The upstairs landing space just at the top of the stairs is pretty simple. I think I basically just put some wall lights and a rug. I might add potentially some artwork to the walls, but there's not really, I don't think I add really any furniture up there. And then the 2 bedrooms and a family bathroom are up here as well. So this is where I imagine the 2 kids live, up in this space. You can see here, this is a bit of building that kind of frustrates me in The Sims. That bit of roofing was poking through the floor of this bedroom, and it was bothering me so much. So I decided I'm just going to have to use one of these built-in closets, which, in the end wasn't a bad thing, actually worked really well. And it was fine for the room, but it's just, it it bothers me that I had to do that. And then I use the horse ranch bed, which the swatch I don't think is one that I've used so far. It's so pretty. This blue and pink and cream. Oh, I love it. It was basically the inspiration for the rest of the room and the rest of the color swatches that I use. So I bring in a lot of pink here. Also the wallpaper. It's got this nice soft pink up here. Then I pull out a few things from high school years because I was decorating this for a teen, and of course high school years has such awesome items for teen sims. And then this cute fox lamp. I love this. I actually can't remember if that was a base game update object or if it came with something else. I feel like it came with a pack, but I can't remember which one. But I've given this sim a little desk space as well, and just a small computer. I think that this family is quite wealthy, and as I say, I in my mind, it's just one of the parents that just has a really high-paying, successful career, and the other one maybe doesn't work. But the family as a whole is really wealthy, and the kids have always had everything they've basically needed. And whilst I don't think they're necessarily spoiled, because I don't think the parents are hugely close with their kids, I do think that they've got very nice things, and they've got computers, and they've got they get plenty of pocket money to go out and buy their own things and go out to the mall and hang out with their friends and things. So yeah, I think they're probably one of the more wealthy kids at school, is what I think. So that room is pretty much done there, and then I furnish the upstairs bathroom, which is just pretty simple. It's just I pull a lot of the items from downstairs that I use in the other bathrooms, and then I use the shower tub combo. So if you did want to swap out any of the beds in these bedrooms for like a toddler or others, there's already a bath here, so you can give them baths. I did finish it for a child and a teen, but easily swap out that for another age. I also put a dog bed in the child's room, which is the next room I'm about to furnish, and a dog toy thing outside in the courtyard. And I imagine this household's probably got like a kind of lassie style dog, maybe a golden retriever or something like that. And what I forgot to add though to the build is a dog food bowl, but that's easily added, so it doesn't take up too much space. So the kids' room, the kid is who I imagine is like big into animals. I've added a bunch of decorations in their room to kind of suggest that they like animals. They also have the dog bed in here. So even though it's a family dog, I imagine that, it's the kid that's really the one that takes care of it. And it's their way of growing their responsibility trait and really, taking care of the dog is their job in the home, and they might take it for walks, and the rest of the family, couldn't really care less. So they've got the calendar that's got a dog on it. They've got a cute little dog side lamp by their table. They've got the dog bed, obviously. I loved using this rug, this black and white kind of Dalmatian-y print rug. And then they've also got a set of framed pictures of animals. I think that was pretty sure that was from Cats and Dogs. So that's it for the sort of main part of the house. And then the garage is, as I said, it's not necessarily a space your sim would really use. It's mostly for decoration. It's got these live edit cars in here, which obviously are not functional, and just some cluttery items that you might find in a garage, storage items, old broken TVs. Here is where I realized that your sim can't get in to the garage at this stage. So I added a door that leads in and out through the courtyard and in the backyard area. And then I put in these counters that are actually in the kitchen category, but I love them so much. These like industrial style counters. I thought they worked well here as sort of built-in cabinets for like a workshop. So maybe one of the parents likes to tinker around a little bit in their spare time. And that's pretty much it for the garage. Oh, I also got to use that great wallpaper that basically looks like a plastered wall that doesn't have any wallpaper up yet. It's just, I think we got it from the workshop, the something workshop kit. I forget the exact name of it. But I really like that. It's so good for these kinds of garage spaces and sheds, and yeah, I love it. Then the last few things I do are just finishing off some areas outside, add a bit more clutter, add a few more decorative items. Some of this bougainvillea plant, this beautiful bright pink flower, I place a bit of it across here on the fence, and then I put some on the other side on the exterior of the house itself. And then I think I thought I put down a diving board. Maybe I took it away. Maybe I didn't keep it. Oh well, I can't remember. I guess you have to download this from the gallery and see. So screenshots are coming up shortly. If you do want to download this from the gallery, it'll be up very soon after I release this video. My EA gallery ID is KiwiSimsKate. And in fact, that's my username across all of my socials. I stream live over on Twitch twice a week. I'm here on YouTube making Sims 4 no CC speed builds. And you can also follow me if you want over on Instagram, Twitter, a number of places. So thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you're excited for Adventure Awaits, because obviously I am, and I can't wait for you to see it. Take care out there, everyone. Bye.